r/AskReddit. What was a great thing ruined by popularity? eBay. I remember being able to get an absolute bargain for almost anything I wanted. Now, every shop puts their shit on eBay. The other problem with eBay is it completely messed up people's perceptions of what stuff is worth. Someone will see some shitty thing on eBay listed for like $500 and be like, oh, that's what it's worth. But it's been listed for $500 for 2 years and nobody bought it cause that's crazy. Then someone at a flea market or Craigslist is like, oh, it's on eBay for $500, so I'll give you a deal. $450. In the same vein, Amazon. You absolutely cannot trust 95% of the sellers on there, because it's almost always some knockoff cheap ass Chinese shit from sellers with names in all caps. eBay has gone to shit. Before you could keep an eye on an item and win a bidding war for a second-hand item that was cheap. Now everyone seems to bid up second-hand items to the same price as buying new, and you have to pay tax for buying a second-hand item, so I might as well just go to a store and buy it brand new with warranty? Makes no sense to me. I live in Egypt and many of the most popular places are ruined by all the people there all year round. Yeah, having a KFC right across from the Sphinx is a total WTF. Okay, I'm going to mix it up. Silphium, the plant used as a form of, likely very effective, birth control in the ancient Mediterranean. For this reason, and because it was apparently delicious, it gained popularity as a spice, aphrodisiac, and general cure-all, and became worth its weight in gold. Julius Caesar stockpiled the stuff, and it is one of the most plausible origins of the heart symbol, and the association of that symbol with romance, and doing the sex to people. Unfortunately, it only grew wild in and around Cyrene, and over-harvesting by the Romans after their takeover of the city drove silphium into extinction by the time of Nero. And that's why we had to wait 2000 years for the pill. Huh, that's interesting. Cool. A great read. And, proof that popularity ruins everything. Everything. To some extent, amusement/theme parks. They have to be popular to justify building new, state-of-the-art attractions, but eventually get so crowded that you need to buy special passes and get on a ride in less than 2 hours, and can barely even find a place to sit when you want to rest for a minute. I live near Six Flags Great America, outside of Chicago. Anytime I've gone in the last 10 years it's been a ridiculous mess of humanity. More rides than ever, but every decent ride is like a 2-hour wait. As a resident of Orlando, this crowded issue is more than just in the parks. Universal has plans to make this Nintendo theme park or resort that is massive, and the neighborhood right across has justified issue with it concerning the amount of traffic that will come. This city is a tourist trap and our infrastructure is barely hanging on with the growth and visitors. My first job was at that exact Six Flags. The number one tip I give people is to go on an overcast day. Families avoid that cause it'll ruin their perfect vacation, but it's a better experience altogether. Bothers. Basically they're small cottages in remote parts of the Scottish Highlands that are left unlocked, free to be used for shelter by people traveling the mountains. They are not well furnished or anything, but they act as a freely usable weatherproof shelter for anyone to use in a country where summer usually just means the rain is slightly less frigid. It used to be that they weren't too well known. The hill walking community used them, maintained them, and everyone observed an unwritten code of conduct where you'd make sure to leave it tidy, clean and ready for the next person to use. However, they suddenly experienced an upsurge in awareness, and a lot of them suffered for it. People would go to them so they could have a piss up in a scenic location and leave them covered in rubbish and shit. Literal shit. They are normally refurbished from long abandoned houses and frequently don't have toilets, so they are equipped with a shovel to bury your waste. People seem to think they were free holiday homes that they could just take over. Some people just vandalize them for the fun of it. As a result, they suffered quite a bit. They should offer shelter from bad weather and a safe place to sleep, but now you have a bunch of entitled, lazy assholes who go and wreck them. That's so sad. We have cabins like that up here in Alaska and the Yukon, but fortunately there are so few people that they are in good shape. What an absolute disgrace. Bothers were a tradition stretching back thousands of years. There are some that still aren't well known. It's a few major sites I find are the worst ones. Any restaurant Anthony Bourdain featured in his shows. Even he acknowledged this. These fantastic gems would subsequently be overrun with diners that they suffered from overcrowding and lower standards. He did an episode of No Reservations once in Rome and didn't show any of the restaurants from the outside. If no one knows where the restaurants are, they won't be overcrowded with tourists and become inaccessible to the locals. Really respectable of him. I can no longer eat my favorite burger easily because of Guy Fieri. Edit. I feel I need to point out that I said I can't easily eat there. There is just a long ass line now. The food is still good. It's not ruined. Beaches. Once tourism starts, it usually has devastating effects on the flora and fauna. They had to close a beach off from the public in Thailand to give nature time to recover. Edit. To give more information, I was talking about Maya Bay, which was made famous by the movie The Beach. Yes, the one with Leo. Despite its isolation, the bay attracts so many tourists there isn't even any room to lay down on the sand. The bay is closed off until officials believe the coral has rejuvenated sufficiently. They had a similar problem with the poppy reservation a year or so ago. There was a super bloom that resulted in fields of beautiful orange flowers. People kept visiting and taking pictures in the poppies. The problem was that these flowers were rather delicate. If you stepped on a patch too many times, there was a good chance the plants in that patch would die. They had designated paths all along reservation and signs telling people to stay on the path, but they kept ignoring them. There were a ton of dead patches in the poppy fields. There were also a ton of Instagram photos of people laying in patches of poppies. The idea of renting free room or sofa isn't bad at all. It turned into hard bus scenes when companies owning dozens of apartments rent them to tourists. Meanwhile there is an apartment price and rent crisis. I guess living here isn't going to be affordable for middle class anymore. It's difficult as an Airbnb host with a room in the house available. We get a lot of middle-aged couples turning up expecting the whole place and also expecting the house to be something else. They just don't read the info. It's really frustrating because we're upfront about what to expect and have a really lovely room set up. But many people's experience of Airbnb is staying in commercial flats which has full-time maid service. So they come here expecting to get that, despite being £30 a night, / that and outrageous cleaning fees. Want to rent a condo for a weekend? That's a $150 cleaning fee. Renting a private bedroom? That's a $60 cleaning fee. Airbnb only makes sense these days if you're going with a group of people. Otherwise, I've found hotels to be significantly cheaper for a single or a couple. Drones. They're an amazing and useful tool for surveyors, photographers, inspectors, filmmakers, etc. But they're so ubiquitous, Johnny Dumbus can go buy one at Best Buy and crash it into a bald eagle nest and make the rest of us who've gone through training and FAA licensing look bad. It's awful on some of the FPV/drone subreddits. Look at my 3-mile NLOS flight, or my operations over people, or check out this plane, and you get downvoted for pointing out there are rules and that folks should abide by them. Plastic. It is a great material, but mankind does not know how to use it properly. We have this super strong, super lightweight, corrosive resistant material that can be made into any shape at a very low cost. It lasts forever, and we use it for disposable packaging. Now the world wanted plastic, but didn't know how to make it. So it made us instead, so we could make it plastic. That's the meaning of life. Plastic. Thanks Carlin. The internet. Now corporations and governments want to control it, and the average person seems too naive to realize why they shouldn't be allowed to. How is this not the top comment? I get that people shouldn't duck up some random cottages or whatever, but this is a vital resource used by the entire global population. Travel. It used to be fun and interesting. Now it's a competitive sport. Just travel? Living your life has turned into a competitive sport. We all used to joke about keeping up with the Jones. Social media turned that into a professional sport where they keep score and the best players can land lucrative sponsorship deals. My favorite thing about it is that people think traveling is a replacement for having a personality. You're not deep or interesting because you went backpacking in Asia. The Joker Stairs in the Bronx was a nice little piece of architecture in a quiet area of Highbridge. Now Instagram dipshits are ruining it. There's more trash there than ever before. I feel bad for the local residents who have to put up with it. The Exorcist steps near Georgetown University in Washington DC used to be the same, but it subsided eventually. You still get people taking a lot of pictures and such, especially around Halloween. But at one time it was a major tourist attraction in a town full of major tourist attractions. This entire thing strikes me so odd. Like, I think it's neat that you can visit a place made semi-famous from a movie/television show, and that's something people have been doing since the birth of the medium, but it becomes a completely different thing when you are only there to capitalize on social media aspects. It's safe to say almost everything. Humans aren't groovy. We do amazing things then ruin it. A few people do amazing things, then everyone else ruins them. This right here is the best answer, Imo. The value of a university degree. Boomers struggle with this one and refuse to acknowledge this, which is quite frustrating. I'd give you an award, but there's my student loan. Sorry. Feel awarded. I mean, if you want to pursue something you love in academic realm, I'm all for it. If I have time and money, I would want to dig deeper and do some academic stuff for philosophy. The problem is most people don't know what they want/who they are, so they try to get a university degree just to be, ironically, safe. You've reached the end. You're a star. Destroy the subscribe button for more like that.